Very good afternoon. Welcome to Premier League Live here in LFS this Sunday afternoon. Our second game of the day after West Ham's 3-1 victory over Newcastle earlier today put them in a very good position, and Newcastle not a great position on the road. We watch Manchester City and Bournemouth taking on at the Etihad Stadium, and both fighting for second place. Bournemouth in second, starting the day. If they can come away with a win, they'll close the gap to league leaders Arsenal to just 4 points. Where Manchester City start the day in 8th, but a win against Bournemouth would put them above Bournemouth and up into second, and put them 5 points behind Manchester City. Or behind Arsenal, sorry. So it is a big day for these two teams. Bournemouth, they probably weren't expecting to be in this position. Their best start to a Premier League season in their history, against the side who they got their first win against in this fixture last season. But Manchester City are a tough opposition at the best of times, and they seem to be rejuvenated this season, and a lot better than what they were over certainly last season, in what was a season to forget for Pep Guardiola and his team. Let's start with the team news then. In Manchester City, Gigi Donnarumma starts in goal. The back four of Mateus Nunes, Ruben Dias, Joshua Vardiol and Nico O'Reilly. In midfield is Bernardo Silva alongside Nico Gonzalez. Phil Foden in the 10. Ryan Cherki gets a start. He's on the right-hand side. Jeremy Doku off the left. And Erling Haaland leads the Manchester City line, the leading scorer in the league. On the bench for City, Trafford, Ake, Stones, Lewis, Reinders, Aït-Nouri, Rodri, Savinho and Marmoush. For Bournemouth, well, they've had an incredible start to the season, won 5 of their 9 games. Their only defeat came on the opening day away at the champions Liverpool on match day 1, so they're in a great run of form. Đorđe Petrovic starts in goal, a back four of Jimenez, Diakite, Senesi and Truffert. A midfield of Tyler Adams and Alex Scott, with David Brooks in the 10, and he's the captain this afternoon. Marcus Tavernier starts on the right-hand side. Antoine Semenyo, who's in great scoring form this season. Only Erling Haaland has scored more goals than him this campaign. He starts on the left-hand side. And Krupi takes a job at centre-forward with the injured Evan Nielsen. On the bench for Bournemouth this afternoon, Dennis, Milosevic, Smith, Christie, Cook, Kluivert, Ben Doak, Evan Nielsen, who is fit enough for the bench but not fit enough to start, and Adley as well on the bench for Bournemouth. Two sides that have performed very well to start this season, 5 wins apiece. But Manchester City have lost 3 games this season, including one here already at the Etihad. But they've won their 3 since, and they're in a good run of form as of recent. Despite that defeat to Villa last week, they bounced back with a League Cup victory in midweek, and were on a 9-game unbeaten run before last week's defeat to Aston Villa. So a point to prove for Manchester City this afternoon if they want to be in a title race. But for Bournemouth, they're in a position that probably no one would have expected them to be after 9 games. But we'll see what happens after 10. And they play off here against Manchester City in the Premier League. Kick-off between Man City and Bournemouth at the Etihad is next. A very good afternoon. Welcome to Premier League Live for our second game of the day. And it's great to have you with us for this one. Andoni Iraola against Pep Guardiola once again. And of course, Andoni Iraola, who got the better over Pep City last season. Absolutely dominated them in that game at the Vitality. But that was their own one and only win ever against Manchester City in the league. So it is not a team that they usually find much joy against, Bournemouth. But they'll be hoping that they can use what was a fantastic and what has been a fantastic start to the season in their favour, and use it to their advantage this afternoon against the City side, who at times have looked open, at times haven't looked at their best. But they were on a very good run up to recent. Just 1 defeat in the last 11 games for Manchester City. That is a very good return. As we are underway then at the Etihad, City in their sky blue home strip, and Bournemouth in their home strip as well of red and black. A long ball here in behind, early doors for Truffert, who got a flick on, and Donnarumma has to do a bit of goalkeeping early, clearing it away, but Nicely battled back by Ryan Cherki to steal it away from Semenyo and win Man City a throw. That was a positive one to start the game there for Bournemouth, getting themselves forward quickly. Already getting the goalkeeper for City involved and already having to make a good punch early doors, Gigi Donnarumma. So they win it back well in the midfield there, Bournemouth. Marcus Tavernier. Nice little touch from Brooks. Brooks with the ball across! And it's into the back of the net by Krupi, but it's offside. Flag's gone up. Bournemouth thought they'd taken the lead inside a minute here at the Etihad. We see it again here. They win the ball back in the midfield. Nicely won back there by Adams, I think it is. It's Tavernier that lays it off to Brooks. Beautiful first touch to take it round the defender and Vardiol. And is he ahead of the ball? It looks like Krupi is just ahead of the ball. But again, really positive for Bournemouth. And we know what they're all about. Pressing to win the ball back and blasting forward quickly. Wasting no time. And on that occasion, their first real attack of the afternoon was in the back of the Manchester City net. Albeit in an offside position in the build-up. But a very promising start for the visitors. Krupi's gone down off the ball. But referee Anthony Taylor has to watch. The referee is Anthony Taylor this afternoon. VAR is Paul Tierney. And Krupi just took a whack, but he's okay. And he's back on his feet once more to play this game. An update from that Scottish League Cup semi-final at Hampden Park. Celtic now 3-1 up in an extra time. A young Osmond, the 19-year-old, scoring the third goal for Celtic, and now lead by 3-1 with about a minute and a half left of the extra time. So they are all but secured to another League Cup final, and they will play St Mirren at Hampden in about a month's time for that one, Celtic. And they're in for another one here. And it's blocked behind. But that one should be quite wrapped up right now. Another difficult day for Rangers to take against their rivals. What do we think of Manchester City this season? Do we think they're title contenders? Do we think they're going to be in a title race? Well, their form up to last week's defeat against Villa showed that they could be back to their best and could be back fighting on all fronts, but there'll always be bumps in the road. They've already lost 3 games this season after 9 matches. It is quite a lot. We always know City can be a bit stop-start at the early points of the season and kick into gear in the new year. They keep themselves in the fight. They can be very much in the conversation come the time when the trophies are being handed out, as they usually are. It is all over. Celtic have beaten Rangers in that League Cup semi-final. So it'll be Celtic v St Mirren in the League Cup final in December. Here's a chance for City down the left-hand side. Flip ball into the middle. Haaland was in there, but hoofed away by the Bournemouth defence. That time it was Marcus Senesi that got rid. One of their toughest tasks today, Bournemouth. They know that. One of the toughest teams in the league. As I said about their home form, they've played 4 home games to this point, Manchester City, this season. Won 3, lost 1. They lost their very first home game of the season. Since then, they've won their last 3, so they've turned their home form back on. That was against Spurs. They failed to score in that game against Spurs, you remember. The 2-0 defeat to Thomas Frank's Spurs. And statement. Spurs always seem to be a bogey team, though, for Manchester City. A team that they just, no matter how bad or how good they are, it's always seems to be a tough one for City. As I said, for Bournemouth, they've only 1 defeat this season overall. That was away to Liverpool on match day 1 on the opening night of the season when they lost 4-2 at Anfield. Since then, they've been unbeaten in the last 8 league games, winning 5 of those and drawing the other 3. The draws have crept in recent weeks. They've drawn 3 of their last 5, Bournemouth. 0-0 draw with Newcastle, a 2-2 draw away at Leeds, and a 3-3 draw with Crystal Palace, so some high scoring games there. Either side of 2 big home wins against Nottingham Forest and Fulham. And here's a chance for Phil Foden. In on goal! Tried to square it across. Senesi got his body in the way. Blocked behind for the corner. See it here. Really good play by Doku down the left. Nice little darted ball into Phil Foden's path. And Foden takes a touch into the box. Was going for the strike. That was well blocked by Marcus Senesi. Behind for the corner, of which Foden will take. Left-footed delivery. Flicked off the head of Haaland and into a real mix of bodies, but it was fired away by the Bournemouth defence again. So it's recycled back to Foden. Foden on the left, going for another cross. Blocked by Tyler Adams. Corner. There was some calls of handball on Tyler Adams. Those calls of which the American laughs off. Yeah, there's nothing. That actually comes off his chest. Definitely not handball. Corner though it is. Another Foden corner incoming. Left-footed delivery. Flicked off the head of Haaland again. It's in the mix again. And this time Semenyo picks it up and nice sends Bournemouth on a counter-attack. And they're on the burst here. Beautiful ball by Semenyo. Look at the space for David Brooks here. He's closed down. He's eased off the ball by Matheus Nunes. Fantastic bit of recovery defending there. And David Brooks was in a great amount of space, but well closed out by the Man City right back. And well retrieved. City trying to play out from that Bournemouth press, but nowhere to go. Nicely retrieved by Jimenez. Senesi across to Truffert. Back to Semenyo. Back to Senesi again. Lovely little turn by Alex Scott, and he was brought down in the middle by Nico Gonzalez. So a free kick to Bournemouth. It was actually a year to the day when Bournemouth got their victory, their very first victory against Man City. It was at the Vitality Stadium. They won 2-1 on the 2nd of November last year. Is the 2nd of November a good omen for Bournemouth against Man City? Antoine Semenyo and Evan Nielsen, the 2 scorers, before a late goal from Vardy all made it interesting, but Bournemouth had enough to hold on and did enough. From the free kick, the ball's fizzed out to the right channel. Nicely retrieved by Bernardo Silva, who switches it to Cherki, who has to head it back to Matheus Nunes, and recycled all the way back to Bernardo Silva again. Here's Foden. Gonzalez back to Bernardo Silva. Down the left channel comes O'Reilly. Manchester City just trying to ease back into form. Well, since that defeat to Bournemouth, they won 3-1 here last season at the Etihad, did City against Bournemouth. Both sides actually went down to 10 in that game. Omar Marmoush and Bernardo Silva gave City a 2-goal lead. Mateo Kovacic was then sent off. Lewis Cook was then sent off for Bournemouth before City made it 3-0, and then Jebison added a late consolation for Bournemouth in added time, but the job for City was done at that point. Switch ball there for Manchester City, nicely taken in by Matheus Nunes, and gets away from the press of Semenyo on that occasion. Loose from Cherki. Allows Bournemouth to win it back. Semenyo. Little battle there as it's a run for Krupi. He's got him behind. Look at the space for Brooks again, but well blocked as Krupi, and well won back by Manchester City. Here's Cherki. Run of Haaland in behind. Cherki's darted it in behind, but no risks taken by Jordi Petrovic. The Bournemouth keeper. That's one fly out to the left-hand channel and out for a Manchester City throw. Manchester City have won all 8 of their Premier League home games against Bournemouth. In top flight history, only Man United, who've won 16 out of 16 against Luton, and City themselves against Swansea, which they've won 9 out of 9, have a better 100% win rate against an opponent. They've never dropped points at home against Bournemouth, Manchester City in the Premier League. That is some record, though, considering how tough and how tricky the Premier League can be, no matter who you play. Here's Jeremy Doku finding Foden, who was blocked off with his pass. Gonzalez flips it out to Haaland on the left side. Haaland going to have a go. Straight down the throat of the keeper, Jordi Petrovic. And a comfortable gather for the Bournemouth keeper. Yeah, nice work from Nico Gonzalez. Worked it into space for Erling Haaland. And Haaland's in space, he's always a threat. On that occasion, just couldn't use his threat to his utmost on that moment. It's Jimenez, works inside and almost messes it up there. Tyler Adams has his back. Senesi firing one directly, but well covered by Vardiol and received by Manchester City without any real complications there. As you would expect, Man City having the control of the possession. To this point, not much goalmouth action. The referee allows a challenge on a City player to float, and the ball comes to Truffert, left back for Bournemouth. Back to Senesi, and into Tyler Adams. Across to Diakite, and out to Jimenez. Top again by Senesi, but it seems like those long balls not quite working at the moment for Bournemouth. Man City easily recovering the possession from that sort of range. Here's Ruben Dias. And wide it goes to Matheus Nunes, who right on the touchline couldn't keep it in play. The ball in behind for Bournemouth again. The threat of Krupi and Semenyo there too. He's dispossessed and it's fired away by Nunes. Truffert gets in a real tricky one with Cherki and waited in behind for Haaland, but a really good sliding challenge by Senesi. Denies Haaland's run. Real chess match at the moment. Both sides feeling each other out, trying to find ways to work in behind each other's defence. Here's Alex Scott. Much room to manoeuvre as he works it back to Senesi, and out wide it goes to Truffert. Calm and comfortable for Bournemouth. Adams right to Adrian Truffert. Semenyo played it off to Tavernier, but given no room or space there, Marcus Tavernier, and he's completely dispossessed. But City firing it long again and bring the possession back into Bournemouth's possession. Bournemouth's control. Here's Adams. Senesi. City really compact in their shape. Not worried about any real issues at the moment as that ball's fed down the channel. One for Tavernier to chase, and Ruben Dias has him covered all the way. And that goes out for a Manchester City throw off Tavernier. Nunes to take this through. And 15 minutes gone at the Etihad. City 0, Bournemouth 0. Our second game of the day here on LFS. Our fourth game of the weekend. It's been a busy weekend, but Some very good games we've watched. Here's Tavernier. Scott back to Adams. Now Diakite. He's fired one out to the left channel. One for Semenyo to get towards. And takes it down here, Antoine Semenyo. He's got Matheus Nunes for company. Chops onto his right foot, beats past the man and runs into Bernardo Silva, who was helping out defensively there for City. But at the minute, struggling to keep the ball at any real stage at the minute, Manchester City. Had a strong start to the game, holding a lot of possession, but it's been Bournemouth had control over the last couple of minutes. Here's Jimenez to Brooks. Brooks with an early cross in. No one in the middle. Away by Ruben Dias, and nicely taken down by City this time. Gonzalez to Cherki, and a nice little flick ball, and Haaland's in. Completely in behind. Unchallenged Erling Haaland. 1-0 Manchester City. Beautifully choreographed on the counter-attack. Ryan Cherki with a flick-on header. Haaland beat the offside trap. One-on-one with the goalkeeper. And you know exactly what's coming next. A Manchester City goal. City 1, Bournemouth 0. And from a situation of relative comfort for Bournemouth, they find themselves behind to the league's top scorer, who adds another to the season tally. Quite fantastic from Erling Haaland again. And he's got another one. See it again. It's just beautiful. It's a forced ball by Brooks, but the way Man City recover it, take it down nicely, and then Gonzalez lifts it towards Cherki. Cherki flicks it on for Haaland, and Bournemouth caught a little bit out with their shape, a little bit out of shape, and they just leave the space in behind for Erling Haaland. No one really tracks his run, and then when they do realise he's running in behind, it's far too late. And Haaland sets himself and finds a way past Jordi Petrovic to give Manchester City the lead. It's his 12th Premier League goal of the season and only the 10th Premier League game of the season. He is ruthless, Erling Haaland, and Manchester City lead by a goal to 0. "25th goal of the season in all for club and country, and his 12th Premier League goal of the season. He is unstoppable. Unstoppable. And here they come again. City in behind was Nico O'Reilly, who felt he was fouled by Jimenez. Referee Anthony Taylor had a good view of it and saw no issue with the challenge. A reminder that if City win this afternoon, they jump up to second from 8th place, so it shows how compacted the top half of the table is. From second all the way down to 11th, there's just 4 points in it between second place Man City as it stands and 11th place Aston Villa. Just 4 points between them. Just 2 points between 5th and 11th. So quite a very compact top half, and shows if Man City win this evening, they'll jump 6 places up the table and up into second place, where Bournemouth started the day. Bournemouth would drop to 4th with a defeat, seeing Liverpool go above them due to goal difference. But it's still early doors. Yeah, certainly, Gary. No joking today with Manchester City. They've started really well. I think for a spell, as I said, before the goal, Bournemouth actually had more possession. They were controlling the ball and seeming like Bournemouth were in control of the tempo. But that's when Man City can be such a major threat, when they make you think that you're in control. That's when you get caught out. When you think you're comfortable, when you think you're controlling Manchester City, they lull you into that false sense of security and kill you. Quite unbelievably, Erling Haaland with it. And as I said, beautifully choreographed. I mean, it was straight off the training ground, that type of move from Manchester City. It was quite glorious to watch. That's a lovely ball by Gonzalez. Down the right-hand side comes Nunes. Back to Doku. Strode over to this right-hand side is Doku. Nice little 1-2 with Checky, but clearance by Truefair. Sees him away for the throw-in. Having a bit of fun now, Manchester City. Have the lead. And now want to have a little bit more fun with it. It's crazy how that was their 18th goal of this season for Manchester City, and 2/3 of those goals have come through Erling Haaland. 12 out of 18 goals that City have scored in the league this season have come through Erling Haaland. That is quite remarkable. Shows what a massive player he is to this City team, and when he's firing, what a threat he can be for any team on the planet, and what against any team on the planet. Ruben Dias. Nunes into the path of Doku, who has had a good gap of space there. Now he's back to Matheus Nunes. This first 22 minutes of this game's completely flew by. That's a nice little combination there by City. Nice little 1-2, and Bernardo Silva was fed in behind, but it was too quick. Was Jorge Petrovic got there first. Nice combination between Doku and Bernardo Silva. With a little less pace on it, it could have been more threatening. Here's Tavernier. Now to Truefair, and back inside it comes to Tyler Adams. Well, Bournemouth at the moment are on the longest unbeaten run of any current Premier League side. They're going without a defeat in now 8 games since that opening day loss to Liverpool. They've won 5 and drawn 3. They're 18 points from 9 games, is their best start to a top flight campaign ever. Averaging 2 points per game at the minute. Are Bournemouth, quite incredible. And let's not forget, at points last season they were flying. If you remember, they were in a real tussle for the top spots, and it's had that real tail end to the season that didn't really go their way. They dropped a couple of points in some important games late in last season, and their form just fell away at the end of last campaign. But they were very much in the mix of Champions League football at around about the halfway stage of the campaign, and they seemingly started this season as well as they even better than they did last. And they've won a corner here down the left-hand side. Alex Scott will come over to take this Bournemouth corner. 2 centre-backs are up for it. This is the first Bournemouth corner of the game. Scott, right-footed delivery. It's deep. It's a good hand, and it's into the back of the net by Tyler Adams. And a poor clearance by Manchester City in the own box, around about the 6-yard box, and Tyler Adams is there to fire it home. They're complaining at the referee, or Manchester City, that the keeper was fouled in Donnarumma. Anthony Taylor sees no issue. We'll see what Paul Tierney, the VAR, has to say, but Tyler Adams, for the moment, has seemingly got Bournemouth back in it. Scott with the ball in, and then the keeper, he does get something to it, Donnarumma. Is he fouled? Not really. I mean, he jumps out of the way of the ball. It's not really much can be done there. He's battling with Brooks, who does really nothing wrong, and then it's just poor clearance. They don't deal with it well enough, Man City. I think that if that's a foul on the goalkeeper, then nobody's got a chance at scoring from a corner anymore. I think it's a great strike by Adams. And that is Bournemouth back on terms, it seems. They were calling for a foul, and I think they're going to say nothing to it. It's a goal. 1-1. Donnarumma's complaints fall on deaf ears. And to even that, the referee's given a yellow card, I think, to the Man City goalkeeper for his complaints. I mean, I really don't understand. Donnarumma is fighting with David Brooks, but Brooks does absolutely nothing wrong. He doesn't hold him back from jumping. He doesn't stop him. He just kind of gets in his, kind of tussles with him a little bit, but he's not holding him. He's not dragging him down. He's not fouling him really at all. And the way Donnarumma jumps, he jumps up, but that comes off the right-hand side of his right hand, so it just lays into the air. It's just a poor clearance. It's not a foul, in my opinion. It's just a very soft, and the officials agreed, and Bournemouth have themselves a leveller. Donnarumma has himself a yellow card for his arguments. That is made it interesting early here at the Etihad. And Tyler Adams with the leveller. Tyler Adams with his first Bournemouth goal. He's already got an assist this season, but that's his first goal for the club. It's actually his first goal since a Bundesliga goal in the 2021 season for RB Leipzig. It was the last goal that Tyler Adams scored. Hasn't scored since, but he scored this afternoon, and actually a game after he got his first assist of the season, so he seems to be a real threat as of recent weeks for Bournemouth. That was their first shot, and their first shot on target of the afternoon, Bournemouth. And it was their opening goal and equaliser in the match. Cherky does well to win the ball in the area there, or the air there. Brought down now to Doku. Back to Cherky on the turn. Foden's in the mix as well. It's a real scramble. Bournemouth can't get it away. Here's Doku. Cuts it back for Cherky. Tried to poke it. Cleared away. Calls a handball again. Bernardo Silva delivers in. Another call of handball. It's just going to be a corner. They are really incessantly arguing here, Manchester City. Referees having absolutely none of it. We'll see this again. Oh, I think they've got a point. Oh, no, they don't. They don't have a point. We'll see it from another angle. It comes off his leg. Jimenez can do nothing about that. Comes off his knee. It's never a penalty. It comes off his knee onto his arm, but it's not a penalty. That would be incredibly harsh if that was given. They are checking at VAR, but I think that would be incredibly harsh. It does hit his hand, but it comes off his knee and bounces right up into his arm. That's not... if that's given, that's ridiculous, but I don't think it will be. It shouldn't be, anyway. I can understand the Man City claims, but at the same time, when you see a replay of it, it's a fair decision, no penalty. Corner to Manchester City. Left-footed delivery into the box. The header of Haaland. Doku is in the mix as well, and it's fired, poked over the crossbar, off a defender. Will be a corner. See it again. The deliveries are causing problems. Haaland getting the first contact to all of these corners, and it's kept alive. Doku keeps it alive in the box as well. He heads it. Gets in a bit of a tussle with Truffert, and then it just comes off the back heel of Senesi. Out for another corner. Petrovic to clear it away. Doku gets it back into the box, but nicely challenged by Diakite, and Brooks was fired by Doku. Free kick to Bournemouth. Manchester City feeling a bit hard done by with that foul being given. referees played it quite fairly so far, Anthony Taylor. After 30 minutes, we're all level, 1-1. As it stands, City would move up 4 places in the table. They would jump up to 4th. But Bournemouth would stay in 2nd and close the gap to Arsenal just to 6 points rather than 7 if it stays as it is. And Liverpool would stay in 3rd, sandwiched between these two. And here comes Doku. Brooks and Jimenez trying to battle, and Jimenez got the last touch, and it will be another Man City corner. Starting to rack up the corners now, City. This will be corner number 4 of the game. All of them from this left-hand side. All delivered by Phil Foden. Here he comes again. Another delivery by Foden. This one deeper. Away by Tavernier. And flicked clear by Brooks to get it away from any sort of danger. Excuse me. Nunes. Back to Bernardo Silva. Responded well to conceding, Manchester City. Come right up the other end and battling to get back in front again. Nice work in between the lines again. Foden and now Cherky, and in behind for Haaland again. Is he onside? Erling Haaland round the goalkeeper! And he's put it into the back of the net again. Erling Haaland doing Erling Haaland things. And he's got his 2nd and Manchester City's 2nd. Beautiful play in between the lines again. And it's Cherky's ball onto Haaland. Almost identical to the first goal. Cherky to Haaland. Haaland in behind. Rounds the goalkeeper. And rolls it into an empty net. City 2. Bournemouth 1. Again, really good play. It's the layoff by Foden, then the first time ball by Cherky's miles onside Haaland. Beautifully timed again, and he's just going away from goal. You think he's going to have a tricky angle. Not for Erling Haaland. He rounds the goalkeeper and probably doesn't even need to have a second look at it. One glance. Actually doesn't even look. He knows where the goal is. There's no doubt about that. Petrovic comes flying out. He's got no chance when he goes that far out. And Erling Haaland rolls it past him to give Manchester City the lead again. City 2, Bournemouth 1. We're in awe of Erling Haaland once again. 2-1. I mean, he's absolutely on a different planet, Erling Haaland. 13 Premier League goals. He is the only Manchester City player with more than 1 goal this season. There's actually a player that has 2 own goals against City, the same player. In Maxime Esteban, they're in behind again. It could be 3. Nico O'Reilly's round the goalkeeper. Oh, and it's cleared away by, I think that was Jimenez in there. Got it away in the path of Foden, who was following in as well. City are trying to completely take this game away from Bournemouth now. The energy inside the Etihad is raised massively. And they could be trying to take a real dominant grip in this game now, City. With 11 minutes to go in the first half, they lead by 2-1. Ooh, a sloppy ball there by Bernardo Silva. Allows Semenyo to receive. Semenyo's got options. Semenyo's going to go himself. But from that sort of range, it will be a tough one, even for him to do. About 25 yards out, straight at the goalkeeper. What a game we have on our hands. What a game so far. Top quality. I mean, Erling Haaland. Unreal. I mean, 13 league goals in 10 games. And he's still playing. We're still in the first half of this game. I mean, it's quite remarkable the level he's been able to reach. He's just unreal. I mean, the next top scorer in the Premier League, so Erling Haaland's got 13. Joint second in that list, all have 6 goals. Less than half of Erling Haaland's goals is the players in second place. Igor Thiago, Danny Welbeck, Antoine Semenyo and Jean-Philippe Mateta, all with 6 Premier League goals. And here he's in again. He's on the hat-trick. Here's Erling Haaland. Good punch by Petrovic. He was in there for the hat-trick, Haaland. And he knew he certainly wanted it there. He looked like he got it. And it was just tipped it over the goalkeeper, but a good left hand that came in late from Petrovic. That threw it away from goal. Erling Haaland. I mean, if he doesn't get a hat-trick, it would be even more of a worry. Ball into the box by Bernardo Silva, too close to Petrovic that time. But you'd be betting on him. What are the chances that he doesn't get a hat-trick? Because they are surely outnumbering the chances he does at this minute in time. As he is massively in this game. And Ryan Cherky, what a game he's having. 2 assists for Haaland as well. Great start for him. It's I believe his first start since returning from injury in the Premier League. Scored in his Premier League debut, Ryan Cherky, of course. That 4-0 win over Wolves, match day 1. There's True Fair. Battling. Ball falls to Semenyo, fairly central now, is dragged away from goal low. Finds it out to Jimenez, who gets caught on the ball. And now Bernardo Silva receives it, and he's got nowhere really to go as Bournemouth recover well, but does find O'Reilly. Now Foden. Gonzalez back to O'Reilly. 7 minutes of the first half to go, and I'm sure Bournemouth will be desperate to be getting to half-time at this scoreline, just to try and take stock, because it is relentless pressure from City. Oh, what a ball by Haaland to find Cherky. He was just closed down. Again, that link-up is firing at the minute. Cherky and Haaland. There's a player down for Bournemouth. It's Semenyo. Bournemouth have possession, and they're just going to put the ball out of play here to allow Semenyo to get some treatment. Nice ball through the lines there to Semenyo. He was beaten to it by Ruben Dias, but he kind of hurt his back, his lower back there. It's battling. Oh, he just kind of got whacked in the lower back there by Ruben Dias. That's the momentum of Dias that took it into the back of Semenyo. A reminder for you, don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications if you haven't done so already. That would be greatly appreciated. Thank you all for joining us this afternoon. It's great to have your company for this one. Do get involved in the chat if you haven't done so already. Let us know what you think of the game. And what do you make of Erling Haaland? Unbelievable at the minute. And a reminder for you that we've one more game to come in the Premier League this weekend after this one. And we are at the Stadium of Light tomorrow night at 8 o'clock for the Monday night game between Sunderland and Everton. Sunderland, who've also had a fantastic start to the season, a newly promoted side, unbelievable start to the campaign. And they could jump up to second, no matter what happens here today. But if City win today, Sunderland could jump up to second in the table if they win against Everton tomorrow. And face an Everton side who sitting 15th, 3 wins out of their 9 league games, 4 defeats. And a tough place to go is the Stadium of Light, and that's tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. I mean, while Semenyo gets treatment, we're seeing the goals again, and Erling Haaland. I mean, unbelievable what he's doing at the moment. Unbelievable what he's doing. Semenyo back to his feet. Still in pain with that back issue. It's not what we like to see. Certainly not me and my fantasy team doesn't want to see this. Foul there on Alex Scott. No, Phil Foden making his 200th appearance today for Manchester City in the Premier League. He is the 15th player to reach this milestone for the club. Oh, lovely ball by Semenyo. Beautiful, back into the action and back involved. Finding Tavernier now. Brooks falls back to Adams. Adams poking it through to Tavernier. He's just holding on to it for now. Back to True Fair. Tavernier was battling and committed a foul on Ryan Checky, I believe that was. No, it was Mateus Nunes. Well, as I was saying about Foden, he's the 15th player to reach that milestone for City, making 200 Premier League appearances, and the youngest to do so for the club at 25 years old and 158 days. So, quite a remarkable star. We know that anyway about Phil Foden. Well, this is a stat that's going to completely be eradicated by the end of this game, or by right now, because Erling Haaland failed to score for just the second time in the Premier League this season in Man City's 1-0 loss at Aston Villa last time out. Meanwhile, of the 23 sides the Norwegian has faced in the competition, only against Newcastle does he have a worse minutes per goal average than he does against Bournemouth. He has netted just once before this game, netted just once in 439 minutes against Bournemouth. He has scored 2 goals in 16 minutes of this game. The 16 minutes between the 2 goals. Incredible. I mean, that is one way to get your minutes per goal average up against Bournemouth. Not that he's probably thinking about that, but just shows you 1 goal against Bournemouth previously in 439 minutes against them. What would that be? That's nearly 10 hours. 9 hours about. Around about that. A long period of time. He's got 2 today. And here's Antoine Semenyo in behind. Chops back. Working it into the box. True Fair was in there. Just couldn't get on the end of it as Adams wins it back for Bournemouth again. Moving it nicely here, Bournemouth, though. Scott. Adams. Scott again. Last minute of the first half here. City 2, Bournemouth 1. Bournemouth pushing once again. Flip ball over the top here. One for Krupi to chase. He's taking it down. Lays it back to True Fair. Lots of bodies in the City box, mostly in blue. True Fair's cross was cleared away as Brooks was chasing in. Here's Doku against Jimenez, and Jimenez gets the better of him that time, but could only put it out for the Manchester City throw there. The Bournemouth right back had a tricky task against Jeremy Doku in this first half. And we will have 5 additional minutes at the end of the first half then here at the Etihad. Haaland holding it up and trying to lay it off, but Bournemouth there to intercept. True Fair goes back to Petrovic under a bit of pressure. Here's Diakite. Nice play, it looked like, but Alex Scott's ball just sailed out for a throw down that right side. Ruben Dias. To Matheus Nunes. Down the right-hand side. Breaking past Semenyo, who's trying to cover him. Nunes into the box, and he tried to poke it to Haaland, but Jimenez had the better of it. Had it back to his goalkeeper with relative ease. Now Brooks down the right-hand side for Bournemouth, as Jimenez was fouled off the ball. And there's going to be a yellow card as well coming out. No, I'm not too sure who the yellow card's for. I think it's Phil Foden, it is. It's something that Phil Foden laughs off. See it here again. I mean, there's not much contact, if I'm honest. The referee's given us a foul and sees it as a yellow card from Phil Foden. His third of the season. Quite a few players hanging in the balance on yellow cards so early in this campaign. A reminder that if you get 5 yellow cards, it's a 1-match ban before the middle point of the season after your 19th game. True fair. Tavernier to Semenyo and back to Adams. Works it all the way back to Diakite, who works it down the right-hand side to find David Brooks. Plays it back inside to Adams. Switch ball out to the left-hand side for Semenyo. Taken down beautifully, rolls it behind the legs of Nunez, and true fair across. Again, dealt with and cleared away by Manchester City as Cherki battling. Kept a hold of the ball there well. Look at that for a switch ball. Can he keep it in? He can. Nico O'Reilly. Looked a little awkward for him on the first touch, but he done well to take it down with his second. Bernardo Silva. To Nico Gonzalez. Around about the centre circle. O'Reilly now on to Doku on the left side, up against his man, and Jimenez again, but Jimenez a bit more physical this time, and Doku no joy there, but a throw in. They're having a little debrief, those two, after that little tussle. Throw in for City, taken down by Doku, held on to by Jimenez, and got away from him. Goes back the way with it. Does Doku. Works it inside to Bernardo Silva. Diaz. Foden. In that pocket of space again in the midfield. And pushed off balance, but he's had stayed on his feet. He's now gone down. And he's back on his feet now. A little bit of momentum that carried him down there, Foden. Wanted a foul. Wasn't going to get one. Nunes. Now into Foden. In that pocket of space once more. Waiting for the right option. Plays it back to Matheus Nunes. Into Foden again. Runs out of room and is brought down and fouled. Free kick to Manchester City. Semenyo this time committing the foul, which he's bemused by, but the crowd are quite ironically cheering the referee's decision to give a free kick. He tried to turn back into the play. Foden, and Semenyo was there and clashed knees with him. Deemed to be a foul by the referee. And a free kick to Manchester City in the last 30 seconds of the first half. 24 yards out to the right hand side of goal. So it certainly benefits a left footer. This one. Cherki's the one that sets the ball down. Foden was in the vicinity, but I don't know whether he's going to take it. I think Cherki is going to take it. I don't know if he's going right-footed. He is right-footed, Ryan Cherki. He's going to try and curl it around this wall into a very tight space. Here's Cherki. Sets it up and forces a good save out of Petrovic. Yeah, very well done. And they thought it was going to be a corner, but the whistle is gone. And the referee, Anthony Taylor, has called to an end a first half that Manchester City lead. A little bit of frustration there from City crowd that the whistle had gone, but there was no time left. And that is what is to be said of the first half here at the Etihad. Two big moments for Erling Haaland in behind. And slotting from both, either side of an equaliser from Tyler Adams from a Bournemouth corner. City were complaining there was a foul, but nothing seen by the referee. Half-time at the Etihad. It is Manchester City 2, Bournemouth 1. Your one last kick. This is going to be it. This is the moment. Vicario kicks this. And Liverpool are there. Liverpool are Premier League champions. And there it comes. Crystal Palace, for the very first time in their history, are FA Cup winners. Oh, he's found the net. Oh, what a goal! Kvaratskhelia is through, wants to add a fourth, and does so. Ahmad, oh my goodness me! That is absolutely unbelievable. Rice again. Oh! You thought he couldn't beat the first one. He's gone and bettered it. Another whip ball in. The header is in by Virgil van Dijk. Incredible. Welcome back to Premier League Live. Half time, it is Manchester City 2, Bournemouth 0, or Bournemouth 1, sorry, at the break. Start with a Bournemouth goal there. Manchester City with 2 goals through Erling Haaland in that first half. His 12th and 13th goals of the season in the league. Unbelievable quality from Erling Haaland. And as I said on the first one, I think you know it's going to be a goal before it even goes anywhere near having a shot for Erling Haaland. As soon as he's in one-on-one, you know what's going to happen. And it happened twice, and Bournemouth paid the price for it twice. He also had a chance to maybe get a hat-trick as well, but probably have to wait till the second half to have another one of those chances. But we wouldn't bet against him getting a hat-trick in the form that he's in at the minute. And credit to Ryan Cherky as well, setting up both goals. Great bits of skill, first-time plays to play Erling Haaland in behind, beat the offside trap, and just really good play for Manchester City overall. But for Bournemouth, they're still in this game. It's not over. It's not done. It's only 2-1 at half-time, and if they come out in the second half and can fight back, there's still a lot in this game. And I think with Tyler Adams' goal, if it was 2-0, obviously it would be a completely different game. But the fact that they got back into it, Bournemouth, they levelled the game and showed some competitive edge in that first half, I think shows that they're still very much in the fight in this game, and certainly proven that they have the qualities to compete with Manchester City, albeit it comes from a corner, and it's really poor defending for Manchester City, if I'm honest. It's not great from the goalkeeper in the first instance. I think Donnarumma doesn't do well enough, isn't strong enough to clear the ball away. His punch is poor. It just leaves it in the area. It falls, it drops, and Tyler Adams takes a really good strike at it. As I said, his first goal since he played for RB Leipzig in the 2020-21 season. So quite a long time ago since Tyler Adams scored, but he got the equaliser, and then Erling Haaland again got the second to get City back in front. And I think whenever the game was level, you saw that extra intensity from City, that they were really pushing to get back in the lead again, because they knew how important it would be. And of course, obviously, that's what you do. You fight to be in the lead in a game and win the game. But I think they knew that going into half-time, they knew they needed to have a lead, because if Bournemouth were level at half-time, it would have been a little bit quiet in the ground. The atmosphere wouldn't have been great. The manager would have a completely different team talk and would have said, you started really well, but you let the game get away from you. I think with City getting that second goal, it's just solidified the control, the tempo, the dominance at times that they had on the ball. And really, Bournemouth scored from their only real half-clear chance of the game. And I think that's not going to happen every time. So there will be that sense of calm as well with Man City, that yes, they did concede and it is only a one-goal game, but they'll also say, well, we haven't really given up many chances for Bournemouth in the game overall, so they wouldn't be too massively worried about things. But again, it only takes one chance to score a goal, and Bournemouth certainly proved that in the first half. But I think this game's finally poised for the second half. Two sides, as I said, competitive at the top of the table. Bournemouth doing very well this season. They're not an easy team to beat. Certainly, as I said, on the longest unbeaten run in the league as it stands, the current unbeaten run of 8 games, unbeaten and only lost once opening game of the season. So they're in a very good run of form, Bournemouth, coming into this one. But for Man City, I think that defeat to Aston Villa last week would have given them a little bit more energy for this game to go out and prove that they're not going to just fall away now. They're not going to be that inconsistent team that really lasted last year, where they really couldn't get into that real rhythm and spectacular mentality that they have. Manchester City of just rhyming off victories. I think today is more about making a statement that, yeah, they are in a they're going to be in a title race, and they're going to be competing at the top of the table again, and they're going to be at the top level, competing on all fronts again. And I know this game's only at one game, and it's only one set of 3 points, but in terms of momentum for the season, it could certainly help Manchester City at giving themselves belief that they're in the fight, whilst also telling everybody else and saying, listen, we're not going to just fall away and kind of fall and pale into insignificance as we did last season. We're going to be here, and we're going to be fighting, and we're going to be competing for trophies again. And at half-time, they have the lead against Bournemouth, but it doesn't guarantee a victory. It's still a bit to go before that is concerned. There's still a second half on the cards in our penultimate game of the Premier League weekend. Another game coming for you tomorrow To round off match day 10 in the Premier League this weekend, we are at the Stadium of Light as Sunderland take on Everton tomorrow 8 o'clock from the northeast. The Sunderland side have started unbelievably this season. 17 points from their opening 9 games for a newly promoted side is quite remarkable. And for Everton, they need to get some points under their belt after what has been a tricky recent spell. For for David Moyes' team, who've lost their last 2 games, albeit to Man City and Spurs, but they have lost their last 2, and they'll want to bounce back tomorrow. We'll see, that's tomorrow evening. Right, the second half of the Etihad's on the way next. Do stay with us. Welcome back to Premier League Live. Half-time, and it's Man City 2, Bournemouth 1 at the break. Erling Haaland with the 2 City goals and Tyler Adams with the Bournemouth goal. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications if you haven't done so already, of course. Thank you all for joining us this evening for this one. It's great to have your company for this Premier League game, our second game of the day, and our last game of the day, and our penultimate game of the weekend, and what has been a very interesting Premier League weekend so far. But there is still another half of football to go before we round off Sunday's action. And Bournemouth already out on the field. Man City just emerging from the tunnel, ready for their second half. There have been some interesting results this weekend as well. West Ham's win over Newcastle, the most notable one of the weekend. Chelsea winning away at Spurs. Forest getting a point out of Man United. And then some big home wins as well yesterday. Brighton and Fulham comfortably beating their opponents by 3-0. So a very intriguing weekend so far, shall we say. Still quite a bit to go. All but ready. Players back out on the field, and City kicking from right to left. Bournemouth from left to right in the second half. Scott says City winning the treble again. Well, you never know. They have a lot of work to do that, but we're back on the way in the second half. And City leading by 2-1. Can they use that to their advantage? Can they add to that and fend off any sort of Bournemouth fight that will inevitably come? There's no doubt about that. Manchester City trying to break forward there early on. Cut out by David Brooks. Krupi, laying it off to Brooks. Look at the space here in the middle. Brooks, tried to lay it through. Tavernier made the run ahead of it, and Krupi was too far behind it, but referee's going to pull it back for a foul on David Brooks that came just before that. So a free kick here to Bournemouth. High up in Manchester City's half. Alex Scott and Marcus Tavernier are over this. Alex Scott looks like the one who's going to be taking it. Scott right-footed into the box. Headed away by Cherky. Goes all the way back to the last man for Bournemouth in Jimenez. He plays it back to his goalkeeper. No real concern there for Manchester City. Jimenez Down the right hand side, tried to find Brooks, who let it run, but Krupi tried to get onto the ball, and as he done so, shoving Josko Vardiol to the ground. Will give Manchester City a free kick. Bournemouth's away form is quite mixed this season. Just one win on the road this campaign. 2 draws and their sole defeat of the campaign coming away from home. So a very mixed run of form on the road this season. And here's a chance for Haaland. Heads it skied over the bar. They're not the worst in terms of their run of form away from home. They're ranked 8th as it stands for away form. So it's not too bad. They do concede goals on the road. They conceded 9 and scored 8 in their 4 away games this season so far prior to tonight, albeit 4 of those came in one game against Liverpool in that defeat. But Bournemouth have looked a little shakier on the road than they have at home at the Vitality this season, where they've won 4 and drawn just 1 of their 5 home games. Unbeaten at home this season are Bournemouth. A number of sides that are on that list. Manchester City aren't one of them. There's a number of sides that are unbeaten at home this season. Crystal Palace are one of them. Sunderland, Brighton, Bournemouth and Arsenal. Now the 5 that are unbeaten at home. City in their 5th home game of the season, looking to jump up the table. As it stands, with City winning this game, it will be their 4th home win of the season, joint with the most home wins of multiple sides this campaign, and they will be just a point off Bournemouth and Arsenal, who top the home form table. Man United and Liverpool also in that top 5 for 4 wins at home this season. Adams with a fired ball through the lines, but fired it was, and it was all the way through to Gigi Donnarumma. Remember, there is threats off the Bournemouth bench as well as off the City bench as well. If it's needed, Evan Nielsen, of course, their main striker. Justin Kluivert's a good option off the bench. Evan Nielsen, of course, who wasn't fit enough to start the game, but is on the bench, so should be fit enough to play some minutes at some point, if needs be. Might be something Bournemouth are trying to get towards. That's a nice ball by Brooks, whizzed out to Semenyo. Nice first touch, and looks to arrow it into the box. It's found its way to Brooks, who cuts it back for Krupi, who struck it just wide of the side netting. That was better from Bournemouth. Great switch ball by Brooks. He started the move. Fabulous from Semenyo. He spots a run. He just lays it off. Round the corner it goes. Out to the other side for Brooks again, and cuts it back for Krupi, who can't get the shot on target. That's a good bit of play from Bournemouth. He's got Tavernier in the middle of the tap in, but when you're in that sort of position as a striker, your first thought is not to pass it, it's to shoot. That was better from Bournemouth, and they've won it back here with Jimenez. And Scott will just go backwards with it and look to stay calm. More positive though from Bournemouth. Tavernier back to Truffert, and Semenyo back to Truffert again. Senesi down the left channel is Semenyo. Goes for the ball, trying to bypass the run of Tavernier, but in the end left too much on it, and Donnarumma can gather. He's the threat. Second most goal involvements of the season, just behind Erling Haaland. 9 goal involvements this season for Antoine Semenyo. He's not only a finisher but a creator as well. 6 goals and 3 assists in his 9 Premier League appearances, so he's averaging a goal involvement per game at the minute, which is quite unbelievable. Here's O'Reilly with the ball into the box. Adams to clear it away, as well as Jimenez. Scott helping out too to clear it long, but not getting very far with that one, as O'Reilly has it down on the left side now. Doku. He's almost at more than half way to his tally of last season, Antoine Semenyo, of 11 Premier League goals. He's over half the way there. 6 now in his first 9 games, 11 in 37 games, so it wasn't that he missed a lot of last season. It's just that so far this season he's been much more on point with his finishing. Scoring in big moments as well for Bournemouth. Lay off by Brooks. Now to Scott, and now Krupi forces a good save out of Donnarumma. Again, really good from Bournemouth, and it's all started again with David Brooks. He's the real creative at the minute. Laid it off beautifully. Flicked by Scott onto Krupi, and Krupi with a nice effort gets the space, takes it first time, gets behind it, and it took a little deflection as well. Donnarumma with a good parry wide. Frustration from Andoni Iraola there that they didn't find the net there, Bournemouth, but they have another corner. Only their second corner of the game. They scored from the only other one. It's all a muscling again. Ball delivered in again. Cleared away this time by City confidently. Scott recycles it back out wide to Tavernier. He will loft it around the back post, and Semenyo was on the scene. Cut back again into Senesi, who was blocked off, and the first touch was a bit heavy. And it's cleared away. A nice City won a break, but no room for Ryan Cherki on that occasion. Good response from Bournemouth to start the second half. 9 minutes into the second, and they've already got 2 shots on target, 3 of their shots, compared to just 2 shots on target in the whole of the first half. Scott flicks it in behind, looking for Brooks, but too far ahead. So they've certainly upped the tempo, Bournemouth, from first half to second, and they showing a bit more attacking intent. Try and get themselves back on level terms once more. Foden, nice little deft ball out to Bernardo Silva. Down the right hand side comes Silva into the box. It was Cherki with a cross, blocked by Senesi in behind for a corner. So another City corner incoming. Foden with the corner, delivered in, away by Scott. Actually put under pressure, Krupi actually put it back into the mix. And Scott gets rid of it again. Away from danger. Cherki closed down well by Truth Fair, but the space opens up for Ryan Cherki again. Back to Bernardo Silva. Spinning into space to find Nico Gonzalez. Foden. Out to the left hand side for Joško Gvardiol. Out down the left channel now is Doku. Up against Jimenez, who had the better of him that time, and Jimenez gone down and is going to get the free kick. Referee took a second or two to make the decision to decide whether it was a foul, and he deemed it to be a foul in the end. Yeah, just slightly holding, but yeah, seems to have hurt himself though in the process here. Alex Jimenez. Looks like from they've seen a replay, they might be a little worried about this, Bournemouth. Do have Adam Smith that can come on, play right back. Done it before. That left leg that he seems to be seeming to have the most pain with. Around the back of his knee. Just below the back of his knee, around about his shin area. His calf area, around about that area of his leg. He's back to his feet. Just seem in pain. And that left leg. Does Alex Jimenez, and we'll see if he's able to continue. Well, it looks like they're going to make some movements, Bournemouth. Evan Nielsen is readying himself, and I think Justin Kluivert might be joining him too in a moment. So 2 big attacking changes for Bournemouth going to be entering the fray very shortly. Long kick there by Petrovic. Off the head of Diaz, brought down by City in the midfield, but battling was Krupi to win it back, and he did win it back. And Brooks now, he's going to shoot early, but he shot low, hard, right at the goalkeeper in Donnarumma. It was worth a hit because really I think he was going to be dispossessed anyway. He was being massively closed down by City players, so it was worth a shot. There's Matheus Nunes to Doku. Central now is Doku. Siege will drift out to that left again. Doku to, or Foden, sorry, now to Gonzalez. Back to Foden. City just trying to garner any sort of momentum. They've seemingly fallen away a little bit in the second half. Haven't really come out of the dressing room just yet. As we said earlier on, when Bournemouth seemed to be in control of the game and on the ascendancy, it was when City lulled them into that false sense of security. And here's Nico O'Reilly into the box, and there's a goal. What did I just say? 3-1. And that is the goal Manchester City have been longing. A 2-goal lead now. An extension of that lead. A round of applause from Pep Guardiola. He's the happiest of the bunch with that one. And Nico O'Reilly, the City Academy prospect and product, is the one to find it. Again, as I said, when they lull you into that false sense of security, when you think you've got them on the ropes, when you think you've got them right where you want them, they just find a way. Cherki to Foden, Foden to O'Reilly, and O'Reilly in space, dribbles into the box and just rockets it into the bottom right corner. Lovely, beautiful goal. 3-1 to Manchester City. And a bit of daylight now for the home side. Just before the big guns were going to be coming on for Bournemouth. Right on the hour mark, it's City 3, Bournemouth 1. And his first Premier League goal of the season for Nico O'Reilly. Set up by Phil Foden. It was all Nico O'Reilly. The FA Cup was his competition last season. Got 3 goals in the FA Cup for City. 2 assists as well. En route to the final. He got 2 Premier League goals in his 9 Premier League appearances last season as well for Nico O'Reilly. And he's already got his first of the season here this afternoon. He already got an assist and in both the Premier League and the Champions League this season, Nico O'Reilly. And he's added a goal to that tally now as well. Right, the Bournemouth substitutions. As I mentioned about Evan Nielsen and Justin Kluivert. They're on. And Krupi is coming off for Evan Nielsen. Adam Smith has come on as well for Bournemouth. I think that was the end of the day for Jimenez, so whatever that issue is seems to have ended his day. And I think David Brooks has also made way, this one for Justin Kluivert, so a triple change from Bournemouth. It's actually not Adam Smith, it's Lewis Cook that's come on. So it's Cook on the field. Here he is. And he lets that one roll out of play for a throw. So it is Brooks, Krupe and Jimenez that are all off. And Cook, Clivert and Evan Nielsen that are all on. It's a bit of a mountain for Bournemouth to climb now. 3-1 down. There's a long way to go, but they've got that 2-goal lead now, City, and they look comfortable with it. Look at that, striding through bodies as Gonzalez. And he goes down to get the free kick. Fabulous from Nico Gonzalez there. Nice little 1-2 there, attempted. Nunez and Cherky. Here is Cherky. Trying to get past Adams, no room to manoeuvre. Adams sees him out for the throw. He takes quickly, Cherky, no waiting around. Well, fascinatingly, Erling Haaland has 13 Premier League goals, and the man who scored the 3rd goal for City is the 6th Manchester City player to register a goal in the Premier League this season. But no one other than Erling Haaland has more than 1 Premier League goal this season for Manchester City. Quite fantastic, that is. That's unbelievable. Foden being pulled back there by Truffert, it looked like. It's going to be a yellow card for the Bournemouth player. And he was just dragged back, Foden. It's definitely a foul. A free kick. His first yellow card of the season for Truffert. Remember, Erling Haaland still on that hat-trick. Lewis Cook back to Diakite. Now to Senesi. Down the left-hand side comes Truffert. Inside it goes to Clivert. Bit of space here. Clivert swinging it out to the right side. Look at the space here for Tavernier. He's got Cook on the overlap. Tavernier's working into the box himself. Marcus Tavernier rolls it back to Cook, who's got the body of the ball. Bolted it across to Truffert, who miskicked it. And that's away by Ruben Dias. And now Matheus Nunes holding it up against Adrien Truffert. And the last touch came off the Frenchman. Free kick, or throw-in, sorry, to Manchester City. Ball in behind here for City towards Haaland. Here is Erling Haaland. He's got options if he wants to go for them. He will. He'll lay it off now to Bernardo Silva. Cherky. Cherky goes himself with a shot that's well off target. It's better though. And the crowd are happy. Enjoying his performance this afternoon. Ryan Cherky, 2 assists. He's trying to find that goal to go with it, to make it a perfect performance, but not on that occasion. Well, Man City, as I said earlier in this game. They've lost already 3 games in the league this season. It's the first time they've lost as many as 3 of their opening 9 games in a campaign since the 2013-14 season, when they went on to win their 2nd Premier League title. So could that be a good omen? It's a bit of a stretch, but these stats are here. And just don't shoot the messenger, is the saying there. I'm just relaying the information. Here's Senesi. Darting it towards Semenyo, who worked it to Truefair out wide, who tried to go for the early cross and towards the goal, and Donnarumma, I think, had to get a hand to that one to punch it over the top. Or did he just see it over the top? We'll see it again. It's Semenyo, and Truefair going for the cross, definitely. Yeah, I think he did have to get something to that Donnarumma. And it will be a Bournemouth corner. Something out of nothing there. From Truefair. Corner to Bournemouth. 22 minutes to go. Corner from Scott. Cleared away by Haaland at the near post. Bouncing down. Scott will retrieve again. And he will play it back the way to Cook, who fired forward. Senesi tried to get the ball onto a man, but Bournemouth unable to keep possession there as Foden has it. Now finds it down the right hand side. O'Reilly, Cherky, dispossessed in the middle is Ryan Cherky by a number of Bournemouth players. Adams to Evan Nielsen, back to Tyler Adams. Bournemouth are still passing it around here. They've got the energy, got the fresh attacking legs if they want to try and take a question to Manchester City here. Senesi, flip ball down the the left channel for Truefair to chase against Matheus Nunes, who lost his balance a little bit, but he did well to recover it. See it out for the throw rather than the corner. Semenyo beats past Cherky on this cover, whips a ball in, and Tavernier was in the middle, and he miscued it wide of the goal. Yeah, and great ball by Semenyo again. Beats his man one-on-one, gets into space, whips a ball in beautifully. And Tavernier might have got something to it, and it just wasn't the right sort of contact to take it anywhere near Donnarumma's goal. Well, it kind of comes off O'Reilly and then on to Tavernier. They're still fighting Bournemouth though. They say that get a goal, you never know. But nothing's ever certain in Premier League football. Bournemouth were 2 goals down away at Anfield and came back and levelled the game, albeit they lost the game, but they've done it before, coming from behind, away from home. When you talk about those big away games that they've drawn, Leeds 2-2, Crystal Palace 3-3 here, and behind is Evan Nielsen, but deemed to have fouled one of the City defenders. I think it might have been Guardiola. Looks like Pep Guardiola's just going to bring on some reinforcements. Savinho and Tiani Reinders are getting ready on the sidelines in the last 19 minutes of this game. A reminder for you, we've got another one for you tomorrow. We round off Premier League weekend. Sunderland taking on Everton. That's tomorrow at 8 o'clock here in LFS. Looking forward to that one. Tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Our 5th and final game of what has been a busy weekend, but one we've thoroughly enjoyed so far. No draws as of yet in our coverage this weekend. A Chelsea win, a Liverpool win, a West Ham win, Man City winning. Here's Semenyo on the left hand side, beating away from those in coverage of him, and he does all the hard work and forces Manchester City to have a throw in deep in their own half. But Probably wanted a corner or a throw-in of his own there. Semenyo did all the hard running work, but couldn't quite get the benefit of it in the end. So a double change then for Manchester City. Doku's going to be coming off. Savinho's going to be replacing him. And Ryan Cherki's going to be coming off. And Tiani Reinders is going to replace him. So Cherki and Doku's days are done. And Reinders and Savinho on in their places. Ryan Christie's also going to be coming on for Bournemouth as well in this moment. And Alex Scott is going to be replaced for Bournemouth by Ryan Christie. Christie on for Scott. A Scott on for Scott. Throw in for City deep in their own half on the right side towards Haaland. Senesi won the header. And a bouncing ball that will be thumped away by Ruben Dias towards Haaland again, but well dealt with by the Bournemouth defence and Diakite that time against Haaland. Here's Tavernier. To Adams, Christie, to Cook, back it goes to Diakite. Balance of the game, I wouldn't say it's been, oh goodness, Diakite just got there ahead of Haaland. It was a risky ball back there by Bournemouth. And any sort of glimpse, any sort of slimmer of hope for Haaland to get that hat-trick chance. He's going to go running at it. Charging at it. Here's Kluivert. Back to Cook. Down the right-hand side comes Tavernier. Well, as I said about this game, it's not been as one-sided as probably what the scoreline reflects. I think it's been, in the second half, certainly much more even and probably much better from Bournemouth, but they're the ones that have conceded. The only shot on target that Man City have had in this second half. Bournemouth have had 3 shots on target, 6 shots overall, but haven't been able to find the net from any of those opportunities. The possession is exactly 50-50. Shows both sides are having their moments in this game. And that's nice work there from Evan Nielsen. Kluivert lays it off to Semenyo. Back across to Lewis Cook down the right side. Now to Tavernier. 15 minutes to go. Tavernier back inside to Christie. Christie to Adams. Adams out wide it goes now to Truffert. Nice Senesi with a deep cross. Up and away by O'Reilly, and Foden takes a touch in his own box. Under pressure. Gets rid of it, does Phil Foden. Up to Haaland, who's in the right area to hold it up, and Diakite gets beaten for it. And there's Haaland on the charge. Lays it out wide to Savinho. Haaland in the middle waiting for the chance. Savinho couldn't get past Truffert, who gets in his way. Stops him in his tracks. Look at that. Goals in the 76 to 90 plus minutes this season. Bournemouth the 3rd most goals in the final 15 minutes of games. Only Brighton and Liverpool have scored more in this late stage of the game than Bournemouth. If you remember the Fulham game, it was goalless to the last 20 minutes. And Bournemouth ended up winning 3-1. Truffert. Arrowed ball towards Semenyo. Nicely cut out though by Ruben Dias with a sliding challenge. And now Nunez with the ball. Finding it out to Savinho down the right side. And a one-on-one tussle with Truffert. Savinho lays it inside to Gonzalez. Now Bernardo Silva. City just looking to assess the danger and just manage this game out. They lead by 2 goals. They don't want to give up any big chances. They don't want to take too many risks. Just be comfortable on the ball and don't be sloppy, although Nico Gonzalez gets out-muscled there in the middle. Adams tussling and bustling, but not coming away with the goods. As Reinders lays it out wide to Savinho. Not much threat there, but Savinho does well to find Reinders. Reinders is going to go for a shot. And it's blocked off true fair and behind for the Man City corner. That's always the worry for Bournemouth, is they want to go forward. They want to threaten to try and get back into the game, but City have always got that threat on the counter that they can go and score a 4th and put this game really to bed and resign Bournemouth to defeat. But it will be a corner just for now. Corner number 8 of the game. Phil Foden to take, although before that's being in action, Tyler Adams is down for Bournemouth. And it's his left leg that's causing him an issue at the minute. Yeah, it was that collision with Reinders a little earlier, and then it was Ruben Dias afterwards that he kind of hurt himself, and he's wincing right away there, the American. Of course, scored the Bournemouth goal. Get them back level in this game in the first half, and thankfully for him and for his health, he's back to his feet. Bournemouth have made 4 changes, so there's still 1 change they can make, but they're not going to make it just yet. They're going to take the City to take this corner. Actually, they're going to make it now, actually. Ben Doak is going to be coming on. Of course, former Liverpool player. 19-year-old Scotsman. Joined Bournemouth in the summer. And has already got a goal involvement for Bournemouth with a assist in that Fulham game. And he's got a bit of defending to do first for Bournemouth. Corner for City. Foden on the right-hand side. Last 10 minutes or so here at the Etihad. Foden, left-footed delivery, lofted into the air and away by Petrovic. Falls back for Reinders, round the corner to find Savinho, and as he cuts it back, lots of Bournemouth players try and clear it away, but they don't get very far as Reinders tries to work it back into the box, and now falls for Foden, who's charged away again. City all of their players wanting to get in on the action, and now Bournemouth might have a counter on. Semenyo on the breakaway, great challenge in there by Vardiol to deny Semenyo a clean run at goal, but Christie's got it now. We are into the last 10 minutes. City 3, Bournemouth 1. Tavernier. Back to Diakite. Tavernier's just dropped in alongside Christie now in the midfield and allowed a bit more room for Doak to break forward, as well as Evan Nielsen and Kluivert and Semenyo. Lots of attacking talent on the pitch for Bournemouth. Here's Doak. His first action, and he just tried to play it back the way he's there, but Lewis Cook was further ahead than he expected him to be. And Foden's there, and Doak, trying to win the ball, commits the foul on Phil Foden. Ben Doak was not going to let Phil Foden get away with that one. There's going to be no hat-trick for Erling Haaland today, but another 2 for his tally. It's now 13 Premier League goals for Haaland in 10 games, and it's going to be replaced by Omar Marmoush for the final 8-9 minutes or so. Look at that for a goal early on. Great flick on by Cherki. One-on-one run by Haaland. Wonderful finish, and then the second one again, another run in behind, set up again by Cherki, and he rounded the keeper and rolled it into the empty net. He is just unstoppable, is Erling Haaland. Undoubtedly the best striker on the planet at the moment. If there was any doubt about his position last season, about that, there's certainly no doubt early in this season. 26 goals for club and country this season. unbelievable type stuff. It's just unbelievable. Intercepted there, Tavernier. Well, as I said about the state of the table, if results go Manchester City's way, if they win this evening, they jump up to second from 8th, where they started the day. Up to second, just 6 points behind league leaders Man City. Liverpool are in the mix as well. They're on 18 points and third now, and Bournemouth will drop to 4th from second on 18 points ahead. Liverpool ahead of them on goal difference in that position, with City beating them by 2 goals. Bournemouth's goal difference is +3. Liverpool's will be +4. City's is +12. It is a very compacted top half of the table. And I think after 10 games, I think Andoni Iraola would certainly not be disappointed with the start to the season that Bournemouth have had. Again, coming into this one, it was their best league start in the club's history, certainly in the top flight. 5 wins, 3 draws, 2 defeats it would be if they were to lose this one after 10 games, and their only defeats coming at Man City and Liverpool away. It's not too shabby for a team that didn't get European football last season and had a poor end the last campaign. A team that lost nearly all of their defenders this summer, with their centre-backs and their full-backs as well. Just goes to show the incredible job that Andoni Iraola is doing at Bournemouth, and the production is getting out of his players. Here's Diakite to Cook. Nice ball down the right side here to Tavernier. He's got Doak wide, but Tavernier works it inside to Kluivert. Kluivert back out wide to Doak. Doak cuts it back to Cook. Cook delivers deep. Up and away by Gvardiol. Nicely taken in by Senesi, and Truefair waiting for the option. Semenyo. Back inside to Christie. Christie trying to eye up a shot, working it into the box, but away from Truefair and cleared away by Nunez. Nicely worked now to Marmouche, and a run in behind incoming here from Savinho. A couple of runners coming with him. He's on his own for the moment though, Savinho, as he works towards the box and is seen away by Senesi. As we were entering the last 5 minutes here at the Etihad. City 2 goals to the good, 3-1 up. 2 Erling Haaland goals and a third goal by Nico O'Reilly. Here's Doak. Cook. The Tavernier. Nice Senesi. Right to that left hand side is Truefair. Going for the early cross, but headed away by O'Reilly at the back post. And Bournemouth certainly giving it a go, but again, it's a tall order from 3-1 down with 5 minutes to go to get anything out of the game, but they're giving it a go. Doak. Cook back to Ben Doak. Trying to find his way towards the box. He rolls it off nicely to Tavernier. Trying to find a way through City at the minute. There's not much room and space to exploit at the minute for Bournemouth. Truefair will whip it in with the right foot. It's bounced down and into the hands of Donnarumma. Evan Nielsen was threatening. Well, Donnarumma trying to throw it away there. It was closed down, and it's going to be a yellow card for Kluivert, I think. Yeah, you can't do that. Yeah, see it again. He just waits for Donnarumma to go for the kick, and he decides to block him from literally a yard away. You can't do that. And Justin Kluivert gets his second yellow card of the season. Long kick by Donnarumma. This is down for Savinho here. He's breaking away down the right-hand side. They've got a chance here, City, to add to their tally. And Marmouche just poked it wide of the right post. Nice opportunity. Great run by Savinho. Good cut back. And Marmouche was there to try and tap it home, but just poked wide of the post. Yeah, got the wrong side of the goal. Close, but no cigar. Christie to Kluivert. Kluivert switching it out to the right side, beautifully taken in by Ben Doak. He's breaking towards the box here, dribbling his way through and gets it across, and well closed out by Josko Vardiol. He blocked that cross, but nice run from Ben Doak again. Showed a little bit of output since coming onto the pitch, getting a good bit of the ball. Trying to show his qualities. Semenyo, we know his qualities, but well marshalled on that occasion by Mateus Nunes. And as he tried to win it back, Semenyo just bundling Nunes to the ground. A free kick to Man City. And with the 2-goal lead and not much time left, Man City are going to use the luxury of 2 more substitutes. It's going to see the end of Phil Foden's afternoon, as well as Bernardo Silva's, and Rodri and Ryan Ait-Nouri are going to be coming on for City. A double substitution. Bernardo Silva's just going to hand the captain's armband off, I think, to Ruben Dias, I would suggest. I would suspect. And a double substitution there for City. So all of the 5 of their subs used. Bournemouth have also used all 5 of theirs. Rodri has not come out to just get a few minutes. He looks well up for this one already. There's not going to be much on his list, but it's welcome back to Rodri again. He's had his tough issues with injury at the start of this season. He's in and out of the City team, and I understand why Pep Guardiola wants to be careful with him. One of the most important prized assets here at the Etihad Stadium. I think Erling Haaland is a prized asset. Well, Rodri certainly is as well. 5 additional minutes at the end of the half then. The end of this game. City leading by 3-1, and they've just kind of managed this one to try and see it out for the victory. Had opportunities to maybe add a 4th goal to their tally, but to this stage not able to conjure that up. Here's Ben Doak though for Bournemouth, trying to stride away, but couldn't quite find his teammate Marcus Tavernier on that occasion. City back on the ball with Reinders. Nice Savinho down the right hand side, a bit of space here. He's worked it back inside to Reinders, and City again in the midfield. Rodri oozing calmness. Here's Rodri once again. Taking their time, Manchester City. No rush. Evan Nielsen gets onto the ball there from a bouncing effort, but is offside. Well, Manchester City have a run of a couple of home games to come. Not some easy games, certainly not, on the horizon. They host Borussia Dortmund here in the week in the Champions League on Wednesday night. Of course, Erling Haaland against his former club. And then it is a big clash, City and Liverpool, next Sunday afternoon, 4:30 here at the Etihad. Tavernier's going to have a shot from distance. It's took a deflection. It will be a corner. So City take on Liverpool next Sunday. Then the Sunday after the international break, they're away to Newcastle before they host Leverkusen in the Champions League, and then a home game against Leeds. So all this month, 5 of City's 6 games they play this month are at home. Only one away game, and that is away to Newcastle. So the benefit of home form could help them. Corner delivered in by Bournemouth, away at the near post. Brought down by Cook and tried to fizz it out wide, but Dokes got it back. Under pressure. Does well to lay it out and away. There's space here though for Tavernier. Gets towards the box. Doak, 2.5 minutes to go. There's Christie. It's deep. And it's too deep, and Kluivert couldn't keep it in play. Goal kick. Well, for Bournemouth, it looks like their unbeaten run of 8 games is going to come to an end tonight. 8 league games, shall I say, for that one. 7 games in all competitions. They are back in action next Sunday at 2 o'clock when they head to Aston Villa. And then after the international break, they host West Ham, head to Sunderland, rounding off November for them. Doak's gone down here under a challenge. Another City player as well. I'm trying to see who that is. Is it O'Reilly? It is. O'Reilly's back to his feet, and Ben Doak seems to be in a little bit of bother. Oh, he got absolutely walloped in the face there by the leg of Nico O'Reilly, and O'Reilly also hurt his right side there. They're both back to their feet. Strong. They're strong. At 1 minute to go before we round up all the weekend's results, and we'll tell you about the table, how it looks this Sunday evening, as Reinders had a flashed effort at the goal. Well, parried away by Petrovic. All the way back it goes to Donnarumma. Gets it forward, and Diakite's a bit sloppy in possession. There might be one last chance for City here. Ait Nouri. Gonzalez back to Ait Nouri. And back to Nico O'Reilly again. For the moment, I think City are pretty comfortable with the scoreline they've achieved. A reminder for you, more Premier League football tomorrow. Sunderland v Everton at the Etihad Stadium of Light tomorrow, 8 o'clock. Here in LFS as Reinders wins a corner down the right side. And that should be one of the last actions of the game. If they get time to take this corner, I'm sure they would. And Reinders had a chance himself there to get on the score sheet, but nicely parried away by Petrovic. So a chance for Tiani Reinders here then. Short from the corner, but there's no time left. That's it. The final whistle goes at the Etihad, and City back to winning ways in the league after defeat last weekend. But Bournemouth's 8-game unbeaten run in the league comes to an end. Only their 2nd defeat of the season, and not too shabby for Andoni Iraola's side. 2 defeats out of 10, and they're away to City and Liverpool. Not too shabby indeed. For Erling Haaland, he's adding to his tally like a robot. Even he exclaimed it with his celebration. 2 goals on the day. A goal for Nico O'Reilly as well, the youngster as well. A fantastic day for Manchester City. They were by far the better team in the first half. But in the second half, Bournemouth gave them a fight. But it wasn't to be for the Cherries, who really couldn't fight back in the end, ultimately, to find that next goal. But they are a very good side, Bournemouth. There's no question about that. The start to their season, the quality they've got in their side is quite immense. And they will be a threat to many a team this season. But City have fended them off and are back to winning ways and back up to 2nd in the Premier League table. A big win for City and a disappointing loss for Bournemouth, but in the end, in the grand scheme of things, neither side have had a bad start to the season at all. Final score at the Etihad, it's finished Man City 3, Bournemouth 1. And let's round up all of the weekend's results then for you. Brighton 3-0 winners against Leeds United yesterday. Arsenal continuing their great form at the top of the table, their 8th win of the season away at Burnley to make it 25 points out of 30. Crystal Palace back to winning ways after a poor run of form in the league as of recent. And they beat Brentford by 2-0. Fulham 3-0 winners against bottom of the table Wolves, who were also down to 10 and who have sacked their manager this weekend in Vito Pereira. End to that winning run for Man United, who'd gone 3 games on the bounce with winning, but it wasn't to be at Nottingham Forest to continue that run, and a first point on a Sean Dyche for Nottingham Forest. Chelsea continuing their winning ways, and their winning ways away at Spurs, but Spurs beaten for the second successive home game in North London. Not a good start, not a good point for Thomas Frank's team there. And Liverpool, for the first time in 5 games, have a win in the Premier League. Their 6th win of the season, can you believe it, in 10 games, but they hadn't won any of their previous 4. Quite remarkable. And Aston Villa's 4-game winning run came to an end there at Anfield. A clean sheet for Liverpool as well to boot. And then today, 2 big 3-1 wins for the home teams. West Ham 3-1 winners against Newcastle, despite trailing that game. And Manchester City, despite being pegged back in the first half by Bournemouth, they had the class and quality on the day to win by 3-1. Right, as I mentioned, still to come this weekend. Tomorrow we round off match day at 10 with a game at Stadium of Light as Sunderland take on Everton tomorrow at 8 o'clock. A quick look at the Premier League table before we leave you this evening to tell you what today's action has done to the table, and a bit of movement at the top and at the bottom as well. We can tell you that there's no movement at the top spot because it is Arsenal who continue to lead the way with 25 points. They're 6 points clear of their nearest battlers, Manchester City, who are in second. And then come Liverpool, who are back up to third after their win yesterday. They're on 18 points. Bournemouth dropped to fourth after their defeat this evening on 18. Spurs beaten as well this weekend. They're on 17, as well as Chelsea up to 17. Sunderland, who've still to play, they can jump above everybody else but Arsenal and go up to second. Sunderland with a win at home to Everton tomorrow. And Man United dropping a few places, but they're on 17, as well as Palace, who make up the top 9 on 16 points. 4 points separate, 3 points, separate second to 9th. Brighton make up the top half. They're in 10th on 15. Aston Villa on 15. They're down to 11th after their first defeat in 5 against Liverpool yesterday. Brentford in 12th on 13 points. They also lost this weekend. As well did Newcastle in 13th on 12 points. And Fulham, their first win in quite a distance this weekend at home to Wolves. They are up to 14th on 11, as well as Everton are still to play. They can jump into close to the top half with a win tomorrow. Leeds on 11, as well as Burnley outside the top half. Outside the bottom 3, Burnley on 10 as they lost yesterday to Arsenal. And the bottom 3 looks like this. West Ham have moved themselves up a place with their win away at home to Newcastle with 7 points now. Forest picking up points as well this weekend. They're on 6 now from their first 10 games. And Wolves still rock bottom of the table, managerless now until they find a new head coach. Winless as well. The only side without a win this season are Wolves, and they're rock bottom on 2 points. Well, that is it from us certainly this Sunday evening. We'll be back tomorrow as Sunderland take on Everton. But for now, Manchester City back up to second, back in the fight. And next week, it's Liverpool on the horizon, second v third. Arsenal licking their lips at the moment, 7 points clear at the top. Bye-bye.